Alright, yo, what's up, every pony? I'm out here on Tier Maker, and I'm aware that I made a tier list like fucking 3 weeks ago already. But that shit is trash. But not really though. It's kind of accurate, but not really. I have my opinions have changed pretty drastically, so I'm remaking this shit. I've already recorded this like 30 billion times, but whatever. Let's do this shit. And this is ranking the business of how good they are and played optimally. Okay, so GT Kara. This is like this character's like simple as shit. Like you already know why it's B tier. I mean, it's got good neutral game and it has good combos and it's good stamina punishes, but it's fucking squishy as shit. Okay. And yeah, that's literally all there is to GT Kara. There's like high mid tier. That's really it. There's a B tier character. Undyne is just what GT Kara wishes they were, right? Because you literally okay, you get the pros of GT Kara, right? But without the drawbacks. Because GT Kara is squishy as balls, and that's why they suck. They don't suck, but that's why they're not S tier or A tier, right? But Undyne, you get those pros, but you're tanky as fuck. Like you're like the tankiest character, like tankiest single phase in the game is Undyne, phase two. And of course, yes, your phase one is not good, but I don't care because your phase two has so much effective health. Because you pretty much have 275 HP, unless it's your hero, then you have 200 HP. That's still the most single phase, tied with asgore. Okay, and you have the Spirit Justice is cracked. Yes, it has to be super low stamina, but I mean it's pretty easy to do that when you're fast as fuck and you can force your opponent to run all the time. And then your combo starters are good. You have 1 and 5 in phase two, which 5 used to have like a micro penis hitbox, and that shit is fucking nuclear. Like that shit like hits everywhere in the world. Like that shit is like continent level hitbox. I get hit by that shit all the time. It's crazy. Okay, so you have good combo starters. You have good damn combos, right? And your damage is really good too, like with individual hits, especially with like 3 or like 7 in True Hero, like base 7 in True Hero is cracked. And you're tanky as shit. Like you don't get the drawbacks of GT Kara, and that's why they're S tier. Asgore, this character's fucking garbage, bro. Like this is straight embarrassing and it sucks. This is the first of all the moveset is shit, but I'm not gonna hate on the moveset right now. The moveset is shit, and that's why it's shit. Peep this, right? Yes, you have good damage, and yes, you have a lot of super armor, and yes, you have a lot of health. However, your health really isn't all that because while yes, you have 400 HP, they put it all into one phase, even though it's effectively two phases, right? Nobody knows why this is how it works. It should have been 200 HP then 200 HP, but then it's 400 HP for two phases, but they put it as one health bar. And because of that, damage scaling fucking shits on you because damage scaling does not care, right? You can do some crazy damage. Like Frisk can do like straight like 120 to Asgore, but they're only doing like 60 to Kara. That's the difference you're looking at, dude. It's insane. Asgore gets shit on because of damage scaling, and also their moves suck. Their moves are legitimately terrible. It's like everything you do gets punished, literally everything, and then you get punished so hard. Like in his neutral game sucks, and that's like the most important part of a character, right? Because even if your damage is good, right? So what if you can't get a hit? And Asgore can't get a hit, or if he gets a hit, it's not a good hit because it's just like a couple fireballs hitting you. He's not getting a combo. It's like this character sucks. Jevil suffers from the same issues as Asgore, low key, but he's just not as bad at it in neutral, right? Because yes, he has good damage, and yes, he's squishier and he has less super armor, but his neutral game is better, which is, as I said, the most important part of a character. Okay, because keep this with Jebel, right? When you're on high HP in phase one, your shit is trash because all their moves are slow as balls, including three. But when you're under like 50 HP, now you're looking insane because this is like Jebel under 50 HP is like S plus plus. That's a lie. He's like top of A, bottom S because your neutral is insane because you have three and three is ridiculous on low HP. But outside of that, it's not good. And also as well, when you don't have three, what do you do with Jebel, right? When you don't have three, what do you do? Because your LMB is fucking useless. Yeah, this is like the worst LMB in the game, tied with asgore, maybe even worse. No, it's not because the fourth hit knocks down, which is kind of insane, Loki. So just because that's better than Asgore's LMB, but that's not saying anything. Because Asgore's LMB is fucking terrible. This is like the worst. It's like being better than Asgore is not saying anything, dude. So your only good move in phase one is your third move with Jubble. Okay, and it's only going on low HP. And when you don't have that move, you can't do anything. And he doesn't have stamina punish. Yes, his final move is a counter, which can be good because you don't have to get your opponent on low stamina to hit it. but the damage isn't actually that good. Like I think it's like the damage is only good on Neo Chaos. I think that's what it's called. The alternate version, the damage is like 30. On the default version where it starts bringing down those knives, the damage is like 25. Because the damage scaling fucks you so hard on that, it's insane. So it doesn't really warrant having a counter instead of a stamina punish. Plus, having a stamina punish works better with Juggle anyways. That would fit his moveset better, but because he makes his opponent run a lot. But I wouldn't expect Lady to make an actually good moveset that actually like works with its other moves. So, no surprise with that. But and then phase two is straight shits here, right? I understand why phase two is garbage because you're supposed to do a bunch of damage with phase one, and then when you finish up the job with phase two, right? Like phase two is like the final fuck you phase with Juggle, but it doesn't work like Frisk does because Frisk is the same thing. Their second phase is the final fuck you as well. But the thing is, Frisk's phase one is actually insane, like all throughout it. Like the combos are insane, the damage is insane. I'm putting it in A tier right now, and its healing is insane, right? Barjevil only has like good damage and then good neutral, but its neutral isn't even consistent throughout its entire phase. And then when you don't have you're at three, and then what the fuck do you do? Like when Frisk doesn't have four, they can still LMB you because their LMB is actually pretty solid. Jevil has the most shit tier LMB on the planet. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then Frisk's second phase isn't permanently dying. It's not permanently dying. And its neutral doesn't get worse. Okay, it does. Because you lose a 2 tier and you lose the gun, and the cooldown on 4 gets really long. But then again, you get 3 slashes. Okay? But you're, like, they don't even go as far as making you permanently die in phase 2 as Frisk. But they do that with Jevil. Like, if Jevil, like, peep this, bro. Jevil could low-key be high tier, bro. Jevil could be A tier if they made some changes, bro. If they made his LMB in phase 1 good, all right, that'd be fine. And if they remove the bleeding out from phase two, it'd be good. And it has no reason to even have that mechanic because SS Kara is like the next character, I think. No, it's confirmed SS Kara is the next character. And you know who else has a bleeding out mechanic? SS Kara. And that makes more sense. Just like if you want to have a unique mechanic like that, just give it to SS Kara because SS Kara is gonna be good enough to actually warrant that. We've seen SS Kara in Soul Shatters. Jello pisses me off. I don't know, like actually just makes me mad like talking about him because it's just so stupid. It's like just give him a good LMB in phase one and then remove the bleeding out mechanic in phase two and he's a solid like B maybe C tier character you'll have to see. As well as also his fourth move, his neutral game is also just straight shit tier if I mentioned that in phase two. Like because you get three and four, right? Three is canceled because it has a long ass startup time. And then even if they don't cancel it in the startup, dude, holy fuck, they just use a projectile. They just use a projectile and then you get cucked and you lose the entire move. And move is also so important for combos that you don't even want to use it in neutral because if you don't use it in a combo, you can't use two twice. If you use it in a combo, you can use two twice. Okay, if you didn't know that. And then four, that move is dead useless. If the two projectiles on the beginning of four stunned, insane. He'd be instantly skyrocket level. If they made the two projectiles on four hit and then remove the bleeding out, he'd actually be like a solid like B or A tier character, but they don't fucking do that. Instead, they make it the world's slowest move that has no stun on the first two projectiles, so you get canceled every time. If you're playing like versus like any character with projectile like isn't like asgore, then you get canceled instantly. Like fucking Undying uses Spears 1, First uses RK4, GT Car uses any projectile. Azrael, hey, Azrael just moves out of the way anyways. Or also Azrael could probably use fucking Shocking Breaker. I've tested that, but he could probably use Shocking Breaker because this move is so slow. But even then, it doesn't really matter canceling it because it doesn't hit anyways. Like the move is so easily avoided if you don't cancel it. So overall, his damage is good, and when he's on low HP in phase one, his neutral is really good. But he's also outside of that, he's shit because he's squishy, right? You have to be on low HP for him to be good. And then when you don't have three, you can't do anything. You can't approach at all. And then phase two is permanently bleeding out with shit neutral game. This character sucks. He's on actual life support. He's literally only in D tier because of three. Frisk and Azrael. Okay, Azrael like A tier, bro. Keep it to Azrael, right? Your phase one's low key bonkers. Okay, like you get good neutral game. You're fast as shit. You're the fastest character in the game. You're tanky. And your combos are pretty good. However, you're not as tanky as Undyne, and your phase two is really not good, in my opinion. Okay, because yes, okay, his phase two isn't that bad, but he got nerfed pretty severely in phase two because um one and two God Hybrid Death, one and two are now blockable like fully, like no chip damage or anything. So those moves are pretty bad in neutral, but I mean they can be useful. You just can't throw them out all willy-nilly now, so it's not as good. Um, but I'm still saying he's worse than Undyne because Phase 2 Azrael can't compete with Phase 2 Undyne, and then Phase 2 Undyne is just so tanky that it can run through both Azrael phases. And as well as you have some support from Phase 1 as well. Like you can make Phase 1 do pretty solid damage if you play well, especially because Phase 1 has some pretty insane neutral game with your first, second moves as well as your fast move speed. And Undyne has an insane LMB as well. Also, Azrael has a pretty good LMB as well with the Chaos Sabers. And the Chaos Buster LMB is insane for neutral. But yeah, I mean, fuck it. You just can't compete. Like neither of Azrael's phases stack up to Azrael's phase 2, like or Undyne's phase 2. I mean, Undyne's phase 2 goes so crazy, it's insane. Okay, Sans. This character is like actually on life support. I think I said that with Devil as well. This character is really on life support, bro. This character is almost bottom tier. Keep this with Sans, right? You have good damage. Okay. Um. That's it. Okay, you have good neutral versus like half the characters, right? Like Undyne, right? Undyne in phase 2 struggles versus Sans low key because they can't cancel telekinesis. But then Undyne just face tanks it anyways. And that's the same thing with Azrael as well. Their damage is good, as I said, but their combos aren't. Their combos are like 3 moves long. So they're doing like 30 damage anyways. Unless like you count like Karma, and then you're doing more damage than that, but like that's not really like you're still doing like 30 fucking damage anyways. Um your stamina punishes are good, I'll give it that. But he's just not bulky and his neutral game literally isn't good. Like you have Bones 4, which is every character can avoid with ease. It only works on bad players, or if you're just not, if your brain isn't on. Like I'll admit that I get hit by that move sometimes, but it's like when I'm just not like playing my fucking hard. Like if I'm actually like trying like hard to win, that shit never lands. But when I'm just like when my brain's shut off and I'm like fucking like like just like not trying that hard, then I can get hit by this move. But like if you're, this is like ranking them based off how well they played optimally, so it doesn't fucking count. That doesn't matter. This move fucking sucks and it's easily avoided. Bone Spore sucks. Telekinesis is easily cancelled by like Kara, Frisk, Jevil, other Sans players. Undynes can't cancel it, but they don't care. They face tank it anyways. Azraels can't cancel it. They don't care. They face tank it anyways. And asgore sucks. So yeah, your neutral game is pretty much bad versus every character except like Undyne and Azrael. And then your combos aren't that good, and your damage is good, but you're not bulky. Okay, so their saving graces are good damage, pretty much. Um, and then they're like decent neutral game, but they're not bulky, and then the neutral game's shit versus other half characters. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, quick run through Asgore straight shit tier. I mean, if you play like whenever somebody says that Asgore is like broken, they're fucking terrible or they're playing Jevil. Simply click off of Jevil and go to Undyne and you're gonna win. Um, Jevil, this character, as I said, is on life support, bro. You're the only saving grace is the third move. If this move didn't exist, as Devil would be fucking straight cheeks. They might actually be below Asgore if we're being honest. If it wasn't for the third move and the fact that it gets faster on low HP. And phase 2 is dead useless. That's actually the single worst phase in the game, and I'm not joking. Okay, actually, Undyne's phase 1 might be the worst phase in the game, but that's saying, but like Devil's phase 2 being better than that is saying nothing. Okay, Sans, eh. He just dies fast. Okay, he's like his damage is good and his neutral's all right, but he just dies too fast. And also as well as I forgot to mention this, like Sans, you have to work harder for less reward, right? Like you are doing more to win neutral. Like you have to try way harder because your neutral options aren't as good. But then you do less damage out of it. Like Frisk is easy dubs in neutral with Frisk. But then you do way more damage than Sans does. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, Sans like damage is good, but his combos aren't good, so you end up doing like less damage anyways. And then his neutral is just not consistent across all the characters. And then he's not squishy or not tanky. I mean, like he has no healing. And 2k HP isn't good when you have 1 health. Okay. Well, when 2k HP isn't good when you have 1 defense. That's what I have to say. The fuck? Okay. This kid's literally stupid. Um, GT Kara, they have good neutral, good combos, good stamina punches, but they're fucking squishy. Azrael, you are You have good neutral, good combos, and good stamina punishes, but you are not as tanky as Undyne, and that's why you're not S tier. Frisk, you have good neutral, you have better combos than Kara, and you're not as squishy, and that's why you're better than them. Well, that's why Frisk is better than them. They still have the stamina punishes that that Kara has, which is like you might be able to argue that Frisk is better or Kara is better because they have better stamina punishes than Frisk, but I don't think Frisk really cares because you do bad damage in a single combo anyways, so you just do the combos for the stamina punish type damage. And then Undyne's just the best. Like they're a rushdown with like fucking like the world's craziest bulk. Like they have good health, they have a bunch of health, they do good damage, and they have good neutral, and they have a lot of stamina. Like their stamina punch is insane. The the Spirit Justice is like top three stamina punishes. Like you get fucked by this move. This move is lethal. Especially like you don't even have to use it when they're on like low stamina. It's like if they're on low enough stamina to where they can't run away from it, like even once they get up, if they're on low enough stamina, they can't run away from it. So they just get hit anyways. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there it is. Easy tier list. I mean, if you think that Asriel's up here or like Frisk is up there, I can kind of understand that. But I just don't think the good damage really carries that hard when characters like Undyne are so dead, like they're so fucking tanky, they just eat that up anyways. Like okay, Undyne has to win like three interactions to kill versus like Frisk, right? If they don't let them heal, which is pretty easy because you have 1 in 5. I mean actually that's not true because if they get a combo and then shoot the fucking Undyne, then they're like 30 miles away, so they can get the heal off. So you know Frisk is pretty bulky. Frisk, you can argue Frisk is like. These characters are all pretty close. I think Undyne, me personally, I think Undyne's in their own league. But if you think Frisk is better, I get that. But yeah, that's the tier list pretty much. Bye bye.